Hi, I'm Ryan from Educate.me, and today I'm going to show you how I do my lesson plans using Google Slides. Using Google Slides is a great way to do your lesson plans because not only do you have one place to put everything that you plan on doing in your classroom that week, it's an easy way to show your students up on your projector or TV or whatever you have in your classroom, and also to share with your administrators or parents what's going on in your classroom. Now, what I'm going to show you works for me. You might need to modify it for your own purposes. I'm going to show you just one computer class at the high school level. So if you're elementary level, you may do it slightly different. You might have a homeroom presentation for your basic stuff that goes on in your homeroom, and then another slideshow for each subject you teach. If you departmentalize, it's going to be different. So hopefully you can get an idea out of how I do it and can modify it to whatever works best for you. So I'm going to show you first what finished product will look like and then how we got there. So here's an example of the finished product. I made up a little Bitmoji classroom, and each day I'll start the day with a slide like this that looks totally different than my other slides in the presentation. If I show up all my slides here, you'll see that this starts a day, and then the students can scan through the document and see exactly where the next day is supposed to start. So they can find the next day pretty quickly, because I do a slideshow for every 9 weeks. There's 45 days in a night, approximately 45 days in a 9 weeks. If each day has 10 slides, by the end of the 9 weeks, your slide presentation's 450 slides long. So that might get a little unwieldy, but by changing what each day starts, makes it really easy for the students to scan through to find it. Also, if I click on, say, April 6th here, look at the address. When I click on April 6th, I have to go to it. See this slide ID? I can actually share that with my students for that day. And if they go to that address, which you're going to share it through email or Google Classroom, because you're not going to have them type that in, or they will not be done until they've graduated high school. If I share that with them, they can just click on it and it'll jump right to the day that we were just on, April 6th. So don't let the 450 slides scare you, because you can share out where they're at for each day. And also with students, you can share out a particular slide. So I've used this when a student had a question. I'll give them some hints, and then I'll say, well, go back and watch that video. And I can go to the slide, and you notice the slide IDs there. I can email that to them, and they'll go right to that in the Google Docs, so Google Slides. So I can have them jump around in the document pretty easily. So we have our slideshow here, and I put everything in here. You can use the speaker notes for additional information on that project. The slides could have links to other things they're going to. For example, for here, I needed them to install a Chrome extension, so I put the link in there so they can click on that and then go install it. You can have links to assignments in Google Classroom. In Google Classroom, if you click the 3 dot, there's a copy link. So now I can put that directly into my slide. No. My Google Mini wants to answer me when I say Google. Okay, Google, you're done. Yes, you are. I don't need help. I'm debating whether to cut this out of the video or not. I don't know if you can hear her talk to me. The link in Classroom, you can copy it and then you can put that onto a slide. If I select that word Chromebook, I can do insert, where's the link? There it is. And paste that in there. And that'll go directly to the assignment in Classroom. We're not going to do that. So how do we get started with this? I have 2 presentations that I use the entire time. One has all my draft slides in it so I can plan ahead, and then the second one is the one that I use to teach from and that I share with. No one sees my drafts. Everyone sees the public one. And the drafts one, I just have one that I use the entire year. So I can plan ahead. If I find something neat that I know I'm going to want to use later on, I'll add it as a slide in that presentation, and it gives me a nice way to store that information for later use. So we're going to create the drafts slide first. This is my drafts lesson plans. No one sees this but myself. So you'll want to click on a nice theme that you're going to want to use. I'm going to use this orange one. We're going to edit the master slides. So I have other videos on master slides in Google Slides. A master slide is one that gives us another template. You know, when you click on the little new slide with layout, we're going to add a new one over here that has our Google Classroom or Bitmoji Classroom in it that we can use for the start of each one. Let's name this too, Lesson Planning Drafts. And we don't need this slide, let's get rid of it. Under View, we're going to go to Master and see here are all of our master slides. Well, I'm going to click on this blank one and duplicate it. I'm going to rename this Day Start. So this is the slide I'm going to use for my day start. And this works exactly like if you're doing a Google slide on creating your Bitmoji Classroom. I'm going to cheat a little bit here. Since I've already done all this, oops. I'm going to copy and paste that into this slide. I copied and pasted that in there. There are 2 pieces that you might not be able to see. This one right here and this one right here. Those are text boxes. Ugh. Oops, I didn't want to add that one. Those are body text placeholders. Actually, this one right here, let's put these in. So once you get your Bitmoji Classroom set up, you won't be able to change anything on this slide because it's a master slide. We need to add placeholders for the text that we're going to change. And we're only going to change 2 items. What I'm saying here in the speech bubble and what's on the blackboard. On the insert placeholder, we want to insert a title placeholder for what I'm saying. So I'm going to draw that box there. And let's give it a different font. Let's center what I say, and let's center what I say in the box. Now over here, we're going to insert that as body text. And we'll just change the font for that one. Nope. I need to select all of that to change the font. So those are the 2. Once I get my Bitmoji Classroom set up, I have to insert placeholders on text that I want to change. And then I'm done with this. So I can go over here and turn off View Master Slides. Now, when I click on New Slide with Layout, there is my Bitmoji Classroom. So I can click on this. And this is what we're going to do that day. Item 1, item 2, item 3. And then after that would be I'd insert my slides with the different things we were doing that day. I can have links. I can do another slide. And I can do whatever I want with these. These are what I'd be sharing with the class. These would have the activities that we're doing in the class. But this is still my drafts. So I could have that for April 3rd, and then I could have another. So I start my next day, April 4th, and I add my items for that day. And the nice part is I can plan out a week or two ahead. And if we don't get to this item here, I can just click and drag it. Okay, we're going to do that a day later because we haven't gotten to it yet. So I can easily rearrange everything that I'm doing on mine. Now, we also need a lesson plan. We also need the lesson plan we're sharing with our students and whoever else you want to share it with. So I'm going to start up a new presentation. And we'll just call this third 9 weeks. We'll give it the title of the class. And I like to put the school year because sometimes when you're searching, you just get a mess, and it's nice to have the school year on there. So I'm just naming that. Name it how it's going to work for you. And I want to, let's put that item back up there. This would be item 2. So this is my lesson plans. It's pretty boring right now. In fact, we don't want this slide here, so I'm going to delete it. First is we're going to share that because we want our students to have access to it. Easiest way, I don't care who sees this, there's going to be no student specific information in this slide show. So I don't have to worry about if it's totally public that anybody could see. I do want it to be seen by parents. So I can share it with the parents. So if the parent says, well, what's going on in your classroom, or what did my child miss? I can share them with the slideshow, and they can see exactly what we're doing in the classroom. So down here under Get Link, I'm going to change that to share it to anyone with the link can view. So now I have this big long mess of a link, which I would put into something like Google Classroom or email it to the students so they know to go here and they can always see the slides. Unfortunately, you have to redo that every 9 weeks, but I wouldn't have a whole year into one slideshow because Google Slides can handle having hundreds of slides, even thousands, but it just gets unwieldy for the person trying to find it. So I named it, I shared it. Let's put a lesson in here. So I have my first day that I want to put in there. I click on the first one, and here's your tip. Hold down Shift and click on the third slide, and it'll highlight all of them in between. You can also hold down Shift and just click on the slides that you want. But we're going to do, so I click on the first slide, hold down Shift, click on the last slide, and see it highlights all of them. I'm going to cut them out of this one. You could copy, but I cut them out because I don't want to get confused on what have I used and what I haven't used. If I cut them out of here, then I know I've used them. So I'm going to cut those out of there. I'm going to go to my third 9 weeks, and I'm going to paste. And it's going to say import slides, what to do with the styles. Say keep original styles. That way everything stays the same. See the blue, the orange, everything stays the same. My Bitmoji classroom stays the same. So now I'm ready for my third 9 weeks, starting with April 3rd. And if I planned out more, let's just copy some of these. So I'm just copying, pasting between another slideshow, just so you don't have to wait for me to make these things happen. So there I have 4th, and my plans for 4th done, and 5th, and my plans for 5th. I can add speaker notes down here, so if there's other information I want to give them, I can put them down in the speaker notes, and they would have the link to the slideshow. And when they go to it, they only have view only, so they can't change it. So this is the lesson plans that they would see, and see they still have access to the speaker notes down here. After April 3rd, if we're ready to start the next day, so at the end of the day, I would go in, grab my slides for the next day, and you could do this also at the very start of the day. So I'm going to grab April 4th slides, cut them out of here, go to my actual lesson plans, and paste them. And where it says do not link and link to the original, do not link because they don't even exist in the original. If you link them to the original presentation, you can change them in the original one and they'll change them in this one. We do not want that to happen. So do not link. So now I have April 4th. And I can continue on throughout the school year, plan on more days. So here, let's add an April 6th on here. And what we're studying that day. And then I can add more slides down there. I can have slides for all sorts of things. If you don't want to keep all of your planning in one slideshow, you can put them in multiple ones. And you saw how you can just cut and copy. You can just cut them out of one and paste them into another one. You can also copy, but I like to cut just so I don't get confused on what I have done and what I haven't done. So I would usually have 2 slideshows for each class active at one time. My planning with the drafts, and then the one that's shared with them all. This planning with the drafts stays the same throughout the whole year. The actual lesson plans that is shared changes. I make a new one up every 9 weeks to make that easy. So that's how I did lesson planning in Google Slides. I really like how, because I had one administrator that wanted to see my lesson plans. So this way I didn't have to do anything extra. I just put them all in there. The students see it all. They know exactly what we're doing. They know exactly what's due and when. Parents, if I didn't have any parents ask, but I could have shared that with them, the presentation. If a student's absent, they know exactly what they missed because it's in the slideshow. You can rearrange slides, so if you don't get done, then you can put those on the next day. You can also, if you go through them too fast, you can move your slides around really, really easily. So it really worked for me. Be sure to like this video and visit me over at educate.me. Stay classy.